Welcome to episode 8, the season finale, and today we're going to be talking about the perfect generation, and we have talked about, yesterday, today, tomorrow, which is the title of the show. And today on the show, I have one of the tomorrow people, or today and tomorrow people, my child, one of my children, Adaeze Dozie. Adaeze, welcome to.
Happy to be here.
Happy to be here. So, you made me swap sides.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
This is my good side. Like, I always have to be captured for my good side.
And what about your daddy?
I feel like that is your good side too. Like, you just.
So I've done like 7 episodes.
Yeah.
On my bad
But
side.
you needed me to like.
I need to tell you about that. Okay, so like on the show we talked about yesterday, today, tomorrow, and yesterday, like my yesterday, but so I've gone through a long journey. I'm 56 years old, so like my yesterday is like long.
Yeah.
And normally what I do is ask my guests, okay, to tell me about their yesterday, but I don't know what yours is because it's very short. But let me just tell you about mine first, and let me just give some perspective.
Okay.
So, there's so many things to talk about, and like, like when I was in school, like in boarding school, like I didn't talk to my parents. So like when I went to school, the only way we communicated then was by par avion. Do you know what par avion is? It was mail, letters. And so your parents, my mommy.
Wait, did they used to have planes?
Yeah, of course we had planes now. We just didn't fly. We had planes now. So they would send you a letter and it take about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending. Okay, when I was in boarding school in the UK, it take about 3 weeks. And then, of course, being boys, if you reply it, maybe 1 month before you reply, or the school tells you to reply. So our parents didn't talk to us. Like, and once in a while on the phone, if it was an emergency, they would call the school and everything. So like communication was very limited. In fact, on this show we've been talking about just information. In fact, when we started the show, it was like when I started the introduction, it was like how we had little information flowing then, but now you and your gang have information, in fact, information overflow, and how you dealing with all that. So that was an aspect of that time where, one, you didn't have, communication was minimal, information was very sparse. But so for you, like, how does that compare to me? Your yesterday. Do you have a yesterday even? Because like,
Of course.
it's only like,
Of course.
okay. So what is different from now, from when you were born to now?
When I was born, I can't really remember too many moments, but I feel like my life started when I was like 7. I feel like that's when I had my first like memory of my life, when I was 7. But I went to boarding school so early at 8 years old, and I think for you the difference, like you lived in like 2 generations. Like you didn't have phones, so you've actually seen that. Like that's crazy to me. But like for me, I feel like in this generation, like there hasn't been, of course, like technology is advancing, but it hasn't been that crazy that it's like. But how was my yesterday? I feel like I'm still a child though.
Just a girl.
I'm just a girl.
Yeah.
Like I really am. Yeah. But like, I just remember like I just had fun like as a kid.
So you had fun like a kid, like you had everything.
But to be fair, it's just like, how like, I loved Hannah Montana, loved like playing like how I still like love all those childish like things. So I still feel connected to my yesterday. So like my yesterday is in my today.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So there's a bit, because life hasn't been that long yet.
Yeah,
different. Right.
And I'm only 22, so it's like there's not that much change.
The question, okay, so like how has, and this is actually an interesting question, because when we just said, no, yesterday, for my yesterday there was no phone, there was no, I grew up in a world where my parents were not in constant communication. In fact, when I went to school, they didn't know. In fact, until they got my school report cards, they would not know whether I was doing well or not. They had to rely on me. So it was my high school, great dad, great mom, right? But like for you, today, like in fact, when you were in school, I knew what class you were doing. I mean, like I had a portal that just said how you were doing every single day. We're bombarded by emails from the school saying everything. So for me, technology has actually changed dramatically from the time I was 10 to now. But how has technology changed for you? Has it changed? Is it still? Are you still in the same timeline with technology? Has there been any?
Actually, to be
change?
fair, it's like when I was like in boarding school when I was 8. I remember I was looking at my camera roll and I saw this letter that I wrote. Like every like Tuesday, we would have to write letters to our parents. So I think either like because I was that young, I wasn't allowed. I didn't even have a phone at that age, but like I would still write letters. Like I'd be like, "Oh, hi, mommy! Like Christmas, I can't wait to see you." Like I would have to write the letters. So and we didn't have like mobile phones, so I would have to like go to like the phone box and wait. Like your parents would call you at 6 p.m. and like everyone would have a time. So I feel like there have been advancements like in that way, but not like huge. I feel like AI is like a thing.
We're going to come to talk about AI,
which is like. Yeah.
Have changed. So AI is the big thing that has changed, right? Because when I was...
And that's like recent.
Very recent. When I was in school, like I had to go to the library all the time, like to get information. You have to actually physically walk in the library.
Even when I'm in the library and I see people with books, I'm like, you're forcing. Like, why are you like reading? Like it's online. Like the textbook is online. You don't need to like... It just feels performative. But not that I'm saying that reading is like... I mean the physical books, like the textbook... everything is online. Like all you need is your iPad or your laptop. So like
great. Okay, so like I think for me I've established from this conversation that not much has changed in your life since you were born from a technology standpoint, apart from AI, right? And so like while for my generation a lot has changed and technology has actually changed a lot. So let's talk about today. And let's talk about so like this is my own perspective. Like I think that we're in a very, I think my generation, Gen X, we're at an inflection point, or at a point where we're straddling between like baby boomers who are above us, who are still in baby boomers and lost generation, and then millennials and Gen Zs. And so like we are the ones that actually understand. I think we're the ones who actually understand them better. We understand the generation because there's never been a period where you had like 5 generations still in existence and each wielding certain kinds of power. And we're the ones that, because those baby boomers and lost generation, they're the ones that gave birth to us. And millennials and Gen Zs and now Alphas were the ones that gave birth to them. Yeah. So we were born by those top ones. And then you were born by us. So we're kind of in the middle, but each one exerting certain kinds of influences. So I have to learn about your own, because you were brought up you were nurtured in a different environment than I was. I was born. So I think that I just think that you guys are crazy, right? And I think that, well, the elders I actually respect, because we're trying to understand you, but do you think you're trying to understand us? Do you think you understand us?
Yeah, and I don't think you're trying to understand, because I remember one time you were like, you know how we're always having all these like debates about different topics.
I like the word you use, debate.
Yeah, not arguments. And you like to say I'm arguing. Yeah. I'm never arguing. I'm just saying my viewpoint.
Okay.
And you're like so fixed, and you're like I'm not gonna. I've like you've been alive for 55 years or 56. That's a long time. Yeah. Like that is crazy. So I kind of see it from the point I don't even try anymore. I'm like, it's like with grandma. Like I'm not gonna try and like change her mind on something she's been thinking for like 30 years. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Same thing with you. And you told me one time, like, yeah, like you're old, like, or whatever, like you're not gonna change your
for one perspective
on some like specific topics. So I think
so I haven't changed it.
Not anything, but I think there's some things that you're like
fixed on.
So, but to be fair, that's like for different. Like I have my things that I'm fixed on, but I do understand. I feel like maybe you guys understand more. Just because like the world is actually changing, like you have to kind of like change with it. Whereas like I wasn't alive in your time, so it's like all I know is now. So I'm not even trying to like know what you're. But I think I kind of sometimes can like appreciate that, like appreciate the point that you're coming from. I'm like, okay, yeah.
So today, right? Question for you. I think that, I mean, like, we've been talking to a few guests about how tomorrow is going to be. And of course, we're looking at it from our own lens. So, like, when we looked at the perfect picture, and we talk about, in fact, this should be in your area. We talked about, like, how are people going to, like, today, you have social media where you have all these filters, and then you have all makeup, and people are just representing themselves in a particular way that is not sometimes who they are in real life, like in the everyday. And then the question is, who is the real person, and like who do you decide is real, like, and what's tomorrow going to be like? I mean, like, in the future, how are people going to be? I mean, are you going to be based on your social or your digital profile or your physical profile?
I think social media is like, it will get like, I think that's like a bad thing, what you just said, because like people just get carried away. I feel like, especially, that's something that has changed though. Like social media has just gotten like before there was no TikTok, like when I was younger, like there's too much. I feel like it's TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, it's just the same thing in just different formats. So now like people can't even read anymore. People don't even know how to read a book because they can't even concentrate for more than 2 minutes. So I think people are more like confident online because it's a screen. Like it's basically creating your avatar. You choose your aesthetic. You choose like the way you type, the way the emojis you use, the filters it's like, and that might kill like in real life interactions. Even like with me, sometimes I'm like always FaceTiming my friends, and it's like I even forget like to see them in real life. Like I'm not even like seeing them as much in real life. And when I do see them, so my friends who live in America, I feel like I'm like
so that's the new reality, yeah. So
exactly, I don't feel like, I haven't seen you in ages because I was talking to you for 3 hours yesterday.
Isn't that a good thing sometimes? Because I mean, like, it just shortens that need to go to certain places.
No, but it's like that's what life is about. Like when you think about it, like why would you spend your life like looking at a device? Like you have to actually sometimes break it down to that point. You're like, you have to feel silly. Like I'm just like looking at my phone. Like the world is like outside.
But isn't that, everybody's doing it? You can't make everybody. So like you just. So
I just think it's also, I think just it's a thing of convenience. As like technology advances, things are just going to get more and more convenient. Like, and it's easier. It's easier to FaceTime than for me to like, even with Chidi and Chitara, like I'll call you on the phone instead of going downstairs to tell you something. Like,
so you people don't like stress.
Yeah.
I don't like stress at
all.
Yeah. So just mental health, just disturbing your.
I like to maintain peace and beauty. Like,
but sometimes don't you have to fight for peace?
Yeah. But like it depends. I just think. In different, what context though?
In just like those, like having a purpose, for example, and then fighting for a cause. Okay, I was fighting for a cause, for example, some cause. Remember when you were, I can't remember when you were, I think you were about 16, 17, and you were telling me about, you're having a midlife crisis. And then you're having a midlife crisis. I was thinking, where are you coming from? And you said, well,
but that happens like every other week.
Yeah. You haven't been like,
yeah, how many times I call you, I'm like having a mental breakdown.
I mean, you said like you're having a midlife crisis because and you said because the way that the environment is going, that we're all going to be dead like in about 20 years, and like exactly in about 20 years, and like I'm half of that. So those are causes, and like a lot of, especially you know how many arguments we've had about how my approach towards
certain things
and telling people, and I shouldn't tell them because it's not right and all that. I don't want to.
Yeah, so I think that's also like that's like a main cause of like our friction sometimes. Like I think your generation or how you see things, you're just like, you think sometimes like we're too sensitive. Like you always used to tell me that, and sensitivity is a good thing.
It is, of course. It's like pain. If
but
you don't have pain,
make it negative. And I feel like you were just like, you just think our generation is too soft. Like I know that's an opinion you have, but do you think you could live in like what do you think you'd be like if you grew up in like?
But I'm living in it.
No, but like if you were born like when I was born.
I don't know, but I mean, like, of course, every generation thinks the next generation is like has life easier. Even my mother thought, like, I was like, My mom thinks nothing. My mom thinks that I had it easy. Like in their time, they had to walk to school. Right?
Yeah.
And in our time, we're going by car. Right now, in your time, you're doing it actually virtually, not even entering the car.
Yeah.
So like life is just getting easier, right? And so, but then again, so what do you think? So have you ever thought about it? So what are the challenges that you have that we don't have, that we didn't have to face?
I think it's like the positives are also negatives. Like, for example, social media, like that's like so amazing that it's like, it helps like businesses, so many different things, but people think social media is real life. It's not real life. Even like just things like I'm like addicted to TikTok. It's like you just scroll for hours. It's not productive. You can't like get on with your day. Just, I feel like our generation is more like aware of like mental health. That's a good thing. But I think sometimes like
you use it to advantage.
Not even use it to advantage. In some situations I'm like, yeah, you just kind of like exploit it in a way of like on TikTok, like you'll just see everyone using all these buzzwords of like, this person's a narcissist, I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like you just overdo. Like sometimes you just need to like, it's not that serious.
Not that serious. Okay, so let's talk about. I mean, like AI. We talked about AI, how AI is revolutionizing the world and changing the world and changing like what people are going to do. I mean, so how do you think AI is going to, like today, we're using AI in a very productive way, I think, right? But how is that so it's making, and AI is of course one of those things that's making life easier,
Yeah.
right? To do things, right? Like, if you want to write a letter to somebody and you want to write a letter to you or note to you, like, and I want to frame it in such a way that I'm displeased, but I want to do it in such a way that it does not affect your mental health. Because today, you guys, it's like, if I want to tell you off, you have to tell me, okay, tell me off, but tell me off in a way that is respectful to my person, right? And not overdo it. So, and I can ask ChatGPT, okay, ChatGPT, please craft a message to my daughter because she did this to me, and please do it in such a way that the message is there, but she won't start telling me that I did it in such a way that she feels XYZ. So how is that going to affect work? What do you think? So like when you think of the future of work, right? Because you use AI, you know how transformational it is. How do you think it's going to affect your role in tomorrow? In what you're going to do? Is it good or is it bad? Do you think about it?
I do, because not even from like in school, like I didn't have AI when I was doing my GCSEs. I was doing her GCSEs, and I think about it in so many ways. I'm like, it's such a positive, because like if you don't understand something, you can just quickly like it helps you so much with learning. But at the same time, I think if I had AI, I would have failed, because those are in-person exams. When you're studying, when you're doing homework, you're just going to put it in ChatGPT and like get it quickly and then just go to bed. And like I would have done that. And I wouldn't have actually done the work. And then like, and even now in uni, it's just like the easy route. And it's very convenient. Like I love ChatGPT, but sometimes I feel dumb because I'm like, I haven't actually like utilized my brain in like 2 weeks. Like honestly, like I actually feel dumb. And it's like even things like researching, sometimes like I'm like, okay, ChatGPT, like explain this, or like something about what's happening in the world. I'm like, I don't even know how to like, I know, but I mean sometimes you just have to think like, I remember what it was like to like look on Google like synonyms for this, like actually Google. I don't even Google things anymore. I just ask ChatGPT.
Okay, yeah. So like what are you going to do when you grow up? Well, you said you're just a girl.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to use Chat? Are you going? Is ChatGPT? Sorry, Gen AI going to help you decide what you want to do in your life, or help you do what you want to do in your life?
Probably help, like both. I think like as AI advances, the world is just gonna have to like shift like for that, like. And because some people are like, oh, like AI is taking all the jobs, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, like, we can't be in a world and like the only computers running things and everyone's like unemployed. That's not realistically going to happen. So it's just about like learning to like work with it as well. Like,
okay. So a couple of more questions or like discussion. This one I like. Like when I was growing up, when I was in boarding school, like in the UK, just like you were, so we have some similarities. I want to talk about similarities. When in boarding school, Nigerian in the UK, and then I remember that time our music industry wasn't that great. our food was like nobody was having jollof rice wars then. We were all trying to dress like Westerners. In fact, we dressed like Westerners, so we didn't have local design. And then, of course, when it came to school holidays, we were trying to see how we can avoid coming back to Lagos, because what are we going to do in Lagos when we can stay in London? How is that? So, like for you, how has that progression been from when you started boarding school at 8 to today?
I think, I mean, like when I was young, I didn't really have a choice. It was just kind of like you're coming home and that's that. Like nobody asked me. But I think like as the years, like I think it's also about like growing up. Like you have more freedom necessarily. So it's like I look forward, like, I will always be here, like, at every, like, possible, like, opportunity. And I just think, even, like, Dirty December, like, how, like, globalization, like, it's, like, packed, like, everywhere. Like, there's just such, even, like, social media helps with that. Like, there's, like, a hype, like, for months. Since, like, October, everyone's excited to come to Nigeria and, like...
So why is that? So, I mean, for you, why is that? Is it the music?
It's the nightlife, the music. And, like, social media, like, propels
Is it Nigerian music? I mean, like...
It's the Nigerian music, just, like TikTok, it's literally TikTok. It's honestly TikTok. Like if you want something to go viral, like you just like need to like just push it on TikTok. Like someone will go to the club, like show how like Lagos nights are so crazy and fun, and you don't get back home till 7 a.m. Like people in America are seeing that and like, oh, Dirty December, like I really want to be there. Like I'm missing out. Like people are
so we're promoting Nigeria positively. So TikTok is actually
positively, but then it's like we don't have the infrastructure for that, because now it's like when I go home, it's gonna take me 1 hour.
Fake it till you make it.
But let's make it.
But we're making it now. But you have to come back. Let's make it.
Let's make it, because to be honest, every year it's kind of like I'm excited, but like the traffic.
But you're still going to go at night despite the traffic.
Have to.
Huh?
Like I have to.
So exactly. So it doesn't. So that.
It just has
so
to
it's worth the traffic now. So the buzz is worth the traffic.
Yeah.
So what's going to, so like, and we've talked about, we talked about the perfect place. So like, we talked about, okay, so Dirty December. So how can we make, and you actually said something interesting, like TikTok, social media, positive news about drive.
Positive and negative.
But I think the positive is actually drowning the negatives as well. Because nobody's actually posting, oh my God, I spent 6-7 hours in traffic to go to this show.
No, they do though.
Do they?
But then people will still go. But I think that's just saying like Nigerians, like things like Nigerians love enjoyment, like no matter what as well. Like people, and it's also like Christmas, the festive period, like when it's like it's known for like all the concerts, like people are still like same way me, like I'm so tired, I haven't slept, but like are you gonna go out today? Like we'll still be there. Yeah. Like
so I mean last question. So last to you before we and I think it's about the perfect environment. Like for me, I have no choice. It was about freedom, but I have no choice. Or I choose that this is I'm going to be part of Nigeria. I'm going to help Nigeria grow. I think this is the best place in the world.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to play my role. And regardless of the issues that we have, I'm going to be part of that change to make it happen the best way possible. You have a choice, right? I mean, like what will make you want to say, okay, and your generation of friends like you say, okay, you know what? Nigeria is the best place in the world to work, to play, to live all year round.
Like what will make us feel that?
Yes, exactly. Because right now you can say, there's no light in Lagos or Nigeria. Let me just go and stay in London, or like when there's problems. Yeah. But I mean, like what we want to make you say, okay, this is the best. Regardless, this is the best place in the world.
I mean, I don't know if there's like anything specific. I think it's a person-to-person thing. Like for me, like I complain or everything, but like I love being here. But even like I said, when I went to go to the MTN office, when I go to like
the MTN office,
and I just see different things that just are not as like functional as they would be in the UK. Like that, just like I'm like, I have ideas. Do you know what I mean? Like how I came and I was like, somebody should do this, someone should do this. So like that is even interesting to me. Like just even the inconveniences, like I'm thinking of like solutions like already like for that. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So like any parting words before?
I have a question. Sure. I always like talk about this when we're that. Like, do you think if we were like in school at the same age, like we would be friends?
You and I?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like, Yeah, because we're similar in behavior.
We're both Scorpios.
Oh, yes, true. We're both Scorpios.
But I think that's why we like fight as well, because you're like November Scorpio.
Yes, exactly. I know. Scorpios are very emotional people.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Emotional and angry, very committed to. They are very competitive. Like you're always very competitive.
Not really. Not really.
Should I talk about the other?
I tried to say that my sister has better hand-eye coordination than me, and that's not true.
No, she had relative.
Because she used to catch balls when she was young. Like, that is fictional.
All right, thank you very much for coming on to Tomorrow. It was great. Wishing you well and wishing you a fantastic tomorrow. Thank you.